In 2026, a team can lose every single one of its group stage matches, get eliminated in the most embarrassing way possible, fly home without a single win, and still guarantee itself more money than Italy earned for actually winning the entire World Cup in 2006. Read that again. Losing, in the modern game, can literally out-earn winning did 20 years ago. So the question isn't really, how much do players make? The real question is stranger and darker. What does it actually mean to fail at the World Cup anymore, financially, personally, even politically? Because depending on which country you're playing for, losing might make you rich. Or it might destroy your life. Let's start with the number that should stop you cold. At the 2026 tournament, every single qualified nation is guaranteed at least $12.5 million, just for being there, win, lose, or draw. Get knocked out in the group stage, contribute nothing memorable, and that money still lands. Compare that to Italy's championship squad in 2006, who beat every team on the planet across an entire tournament and walked away with roughly $20 million total. A group of players who lost every meaningful battle in 2026 could take home more than two-thirds of what an actual world champion earned less than 2 decades earlier. But here's the twist almost nobody talks about, that money doesn't go to the players at all. FIFA doesn't hand players a check. It pays the national federation, a bureaucratic middleman that decides, entirely on its own, how much of that windfall actually reaches the athletes who earned it. Typically, something like 20 to 30% trickles down to the squad. Which means 2 players, on 2 different losing teams, doing the exact same job on the same stage, can end up with wildly different fortunes, not because of anything that happened on the pitch, but because of decisions made in an office somewhere, long after the final whistle. And when that system breaks down, it doesn't break down quietly. In 2014, Ghana's federation fell behind on paying its players appearance fees the squad had already earned just by showing up. The distrust ran so deep that when the money was finally ready, the players refused a bank transfer. They wanted physical cash. So Ghana's government chartered a plane and flew nearly $3 million directly into Brazil, in stacks, because the athletes no longer believed a wire transfer would actually reach them. Picture that for a second, international footballers, some of the most visible athletes on the planet, waiting on a literal cargo of cash to land before they'd fully trust their own country. It gets stranger. The president of Ghana had to personally step in and reassure the players, because tensions were rising towards something close to a mid-tournament walkout. Not over a loss. Not over a tactical dispute. Over unpaid money, threatening to unravel a national team from the inside, while the eyes of the world were still on them. And Ghana wasn't even the most extreme case that year. Before Cameroon's squad had played a single match in 2014, they simply refused to get on the plane. The whole team stayed grounded, delaying their own World Cup campaign, until their federation scrambled together an emergency loan just to satisfy bonus demands. Think about what that means, a mutiny that happened before the tournament even began, before there was anything to lose. The distrust wasn't a reaction to failure. It was baked in. So if federations are already fumbling money before a ball is kicked, why does FIFA keep adding more of it into the system? Because the tournament itself just got bigger, and bigger tournaments need more ways to pay teams for losing earlier. The expansion to 48 teams in 2026 created something that never existed before, an entirely new prize tier called the Round of 32, worth $11 million. In the old format, you were either good enough to reach a real knockout round, or you went home with the smallest possible check. Now there's a brand new financial cushion built specifically for teams that used to be just barely too weak to make that cut. FIFA didn't just expand the tournament. It expanded the ways you can be rewarded for not being good enough. And that's still not the full picture, because there's another pool of money moving in the background that has nothing to do with results at all. Separate from all of that prize money, FIFA quietly distributes a $355 million fund directly to domestic clubs, the teams that release their players to go represent their countries. That money flows whether the national team wins the trophy or loses every match by 4 goals. It's compensation for disruption, not performance, meaning an entire financial ecosystem exists around the World Cup that isn't tied to a single kick of the ball. So across almost every layer of this system, losing has been cushioned, insured, and in some cases, made almost profitable. Almost everywhere. Because one country turned all of that upside down. In 2010, North Korea lost every match at the World Cup, including a soul-crushing 7-0 defeat to Portugal, broadcast live on state television for the entire country to witness. There was no chartered plane of cash waiting for that squad back home. According to multiple independent reports, the players were instead summoned to a public hall in Pyongyang and placed on a stage in front of 400 officials, where they endured a 6-hour session of ideological criticism, forced, one by one, to publicly denounce their own head coach. And the coach didn't just lose his job. Reports claimed he was expelled from the ruling party entirely and sent into manual construction labor, with his team's failure framed not as a footballing letdown, but as a personal betrayal of the regime's next leader. A bad World Cup, reinterpreted as a political crime. FIFA actually opened a formal investigation into the allegations. And then, just weeks later, quietly closed it, after North Korea's federation sent a letter simply denying that anything had happened. No outside verification. No independent inquiry beyond that letter. Case closed. So somewhere on this planet, in the same summer, one losing team's biggest problem was where to store their bags of cash. And another losing team's coach was sent to break rocks for a living. Which tells you something the highlight reels never will. A World Cup trophy has always measured who was best on the pitch. But how a country treats its team after losing, with a chartered plane full of money, or a stage built for public humiliation, measures something else entirely. It measures what football is actually allowed to mean in that country, a game, a business, or a referendum on loyalty itself.